Hi guys, welcome back to another figure review. And next video we're going to take a look at one of the NECA figures from the video game characters lines. And last year I gave you a look at one of my favourite video game characters of all time, Crash Bandicoot, having grown up playing the video games in the Insane trilogy that came out. And today we're going to be taking another one of my favourite video game characters from my childhood. Unless you've already guessed by reading the title, it is this guy here, Spyro the Dragon. Now before we look at him, we'll take a look at the packaging that he comes in. As you can see, it's the same kind of packaging that the Crash Bandicoot figure had. He had sort of the scissor open stuff with sort of a paper back for it instead of the card back. You got a good picture of the character there, as well as his regular artwork there, probably from the video games, most likely from the classic one, Spyro the Dragon. And it is a great, it's a cool bit of packaging, but that, like I said, it's very clunky, so it's all going to go in the bin after I've reviewed this. And it's basically, that's the description there. If you can read that, do pause the video and have a little read of it. But that's all there to read. And of course, this figure was released in the way of the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which came out in November of last year. And this was a fun remaster, I've got to say, very, very fun. There's a few things that could have been done better, but this is not a video game review, this is a review of the figure, so I'm not going to go into that too much, but I'll leave you a link to where you can buy that game in the description below, and this figure as well. And this one is such an awesome addition to these collections. Like, even though I'm not too much of a video game figure collector, with NECA and these two, and this guy and Crash, it just had to be done, because they're really great figures and they're really great characters, and they're two big marks of my childhood, because Spyro the Dragon was the very first video game I ever played on the PlayStation, because I actually had a PS1 when I was a kid and that had Spyro on it, and he's just stuck with me ever since, along with Crash. So as he's standing right here as well, so we've got them both there. This one is just as great as Crash. He's got all these little details on him, like his dragon horns, his dragon horn areas there, and his wings, which are articulated, so you can have him in a gliding pose. They're at the articulation there. You can have him gliding to a new level, or across a gorge, and then just the face sculpt for Spyro is honestly the coolest thing on it. I've seen, like, the serious look that he has, and you can even tilt it and have him in a questionable look. You have him like that, maybe when he sees Hunter or someone like that and he's questioning what they're saying. But that's all awesomeness, because the articulation includes a ball joint at the neck, a sort of hinge at the edge of the neck here, swivel legs for each of his legs, and ball hinges at the ankles, another sort of swivel ball joint here in the middle of his stomach, and then different articulated points in his tail to give him all sorts of different poses you can have. Because I remember charging at him in the old video games, his tail actually used to wave around like that. You can actually pose him in that, and that's one of the coolest things. It's just what makes this figure one of the best NECA figures I've ever picked up, because that charging position just works. And from the side there, so he's about to say hit Nasty Nork or other characters in the game, and yeah, it's all great. And just another bit of great details, all the dragon scales, because these are actually sculpted onto the figure, and even the prickles at the back, they're all sculpted onto Spyro, and NECA have gone out of their way to make this figure as spectacular as possible. Like, that's all separate sculpts for the neck down there, and everything, just everything makes me enjoy this figure so much, just as much as I've loved the games over the years, and well, the original three, of course. And I'm even holding up on the hopes to get that they'll release another one. But Spyro the Dragon is one of the coolest figures that I've ever picked up. The only unfortunate thing is, because Crash included a crate replica, nothing was included with Spyro, so you just get the big detailed figure. You don't get any gems or like a little thing of sparks, which I think would have been awesome, because there was a PVC statue of Spyro to go with the Crash one that was released earlier in the year, and you actually had some gems by his feet, and then sparks was on one of his wings. And that's another bit of articulation. You do have hinges at the wings, I forgot to mention that, but that's there definitely as well. But honestly, I am absolutely chuffed to bits to have Spyro in my collection, because he's been that character I've played the games of. Like, even I just, like, again, before the Reignited trilogy came out, I'd just have those times where I'd have my PS2 and I'd just grab the original game and just put it on and play it. And I've played it so many times I could beat the games in like 3 hours. I actually did that once. I beat the original game in 3 hours, and it was a fun play. But yeah, that is Spyro the Dragon, the NECA figure, and he is absolutely awesome. If you're a Spyro fan, pick him up, because he is a great figure, and he's worth just having in your collection just to pose with Crash. Like, I'll get him on the picture again as well. You can pose these two together, and they can enjoy it, and they just look awesome. And that's what makes these figures great. And I really think any Crash and Spyro avid fan like me should have at least these two, because there are about there's 2 or 3 other versions of Crash you can get in the NECA line. There's Jetpack Crash, and Scuba Crash, and Crash with a jetboard. You can also get, I'm thinking about getting Jetpack Crash, but I'd rather see, I think, NECA, if you're watching, it's time we get other Crash figures, characters. Like, we need people like Dr. Cortex and Dingodile, and then with Spyro we should get Nasty Nork, and maybe Ripto as well. I think they would be cool for a Spyro collection. But for Crash, we need people like Dr. Cortex, Tiny, even someone like that. They should have like a full wave. I think that'd be great. But yeah, that is Spyro the Dragon. I'll just turn him to the camera again. And like I said, I'll leave you a link to Amazon where you can buy this. That's where I picked this one up from. But I do hope you enjoyed looking at this guy, because he's awesome and he looks awesome in the set. And he's just such a cool figure. All the detail, everything just makes his display look great. And just all the poses you can get him in. He's worth having. He's worth having by any Spyro fan should have him. And that's why I've got him now. But I hope you enjoyed having a look at Spyro. And I shall, like I said again, leave you a link to Amazon where you can buy this. But do give this video, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see when I release new reviews. And follow me on my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All the links are down there in the description. And I'll see you next time.